Year after year of megafires, is this the future? The prospect that it is has experts across all industries putting their heads together, from fire prevention to insurance to utilities to construction, government. There is a Canadian who stands where all that intersects. He is Ed Struzik, author of Firestorm: How Wildfire Will Shape Our Future. And this spring, when concerned Californians hosted a summit of thinkers about how to handle what is coming, it was Struzik they asked to speak. So, Ed, thank you very much for joining us. We keep hearing this phrase, the new normal. Is that actually the right phrase for what's happening?
No, there's nothing normal about what we're seeing on the landscape. I'd like to prefer to call it the new reality. And that new reality is bigger, hotter fires that are burning in more unpredictable ways. We just got to grapple with that.
Bigger, hotter, I think we all get that. But how else is the behavior of fires changing specifically?
Well, we're seeing fires, for example, in Fort McMurray, there was a pyro CB, which is essentially a fire that creates its own thunderstorm that shot out lightning 32 kilometers in advance of the fire and ignited a cluster of fires that far away, 32 kilometers away. No one had ever seen anything quite like that. We're also seeing slow-moving thunderstorms going across the boreal forest, for example, one in Alaska that shot out 62,000 lightning strikes and triggered 284 fires. We've never seen anything like that. So this is really a game changer now for firefighters on the ground.
When we look at what's been happening in California, as well as the examples of Canada you just mentioned, is there a connection between the two? How much of this can fairly be attributed not just to sort of more densely populated populations in areas where there are trees, but to climate change?
Oh, quite a bit. I mean, with climate change, you've got a drier forest, drier grasslands, so a lot more to ignite on the landscape. And California is a little bit different because 95% of the fires are started by humans, and so they're essentially preventable. Here in Canada, it's quite a bit different because a third of our big fires are started by lightning, depending on where you are in the country. So with every 1 degree increase in temperature, you get about 12% more lightning and 12% more lightning strikes potentially. So that's a big concern.
So, Ed, when I hear you speak, you talk about fires the way some people talk about learning to live with flooding, adapting to it. So if we apply that, how do you learn how to live with fires? How do you adapt?
Well, for one thing, we've got to stop building wood houses with cedar shake shingles and ornamental cedars built around wood fences around our house, because they're essentially just fuel for fire. We've got to learn how to do what a lot of First Nations communities are doing right across the country now, is starting to consider where they live and thinning the forest. We've got to do more prescribed burning, I think, in our national parks and in vulnerable communities in the boreal forest. We're doing some of this, but we're not doing it fast enough.
All right, Ed, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.